All right, guys, we're back on another amazing episode of The Peak. We're ready once again to climb to the top of the mountain of another creator's amazing pieces of work. I'm here today with Twan Jones, the artist, the programmer, the event coordinator, the legend. And so the ride over here, you said it was a gruesome one, huh?
It wasn't gruesome. It's I got a chance to see the beautiful scenes of Atlanta. Actually, I wasn't mad at it. It was an hour and a half. But from here to the city is actually really dope. I
Where
went
are you coming from?
Bucket.
I used to live in Buckhead. It definitely shouldn't be an hour and a half. That's
It
crazy.
shouldn't.
What's going on today? Are there
I
any
don't know.
events?
I don't know if it's any events, but bro, traffic was nuts. Like you're at a light for like 5 minutes.
The lights.
Yeah, like it's
Those lights, man.
everybody just wanted to go this direction today, but it's a beautiful spot.
We're vibing right here, guys. We are live from Georgia with the good traffic. Yummy's in the building. What's going on, Yummy? Welcome. Say hi to Twan. We got the goats in here. My fan's so fast. I'm gonna turn this down so it doesn't fuck up the joints, man. Great. All right. And so if you're on a full screen version of this live, you can see some of the art we have around here right now. I'm going to skip straight to a question that peeked out to me. I had a whole kind of setup for this, but honestly, the number one question in my mind is what is the significance of using the reflective or high gloss surfaces on the humans in your paintings? A lot of them have that. They're kind of chrome figures. What's that about?
Uh, so all right. So damn, now I'm about to tell a secret. So one of the projects that I wanted to do, originally they were like flat creatures, like these flat humanoid beings. But eventually I started seeing them in different lights. I wanted to see them, um, kind of like what they would look like in real life, but like always, like the light was shining on them. It goes into like the meaning of them. The name of them are the archetypes.
The archetypes.
Sir.
Mm.
I utilize those to like just share different ideas, different moments, or honestly moments of nothing. Shit, it just depends on how I'm feeling. But I started looking at it in the sense of the light was always shining on them. But
Ooh.
their meaning is to kind of like be be functional, but not necessarily an individual. Um, I think everybody has kind of like experienced that in different ways. But the light's still shining on you. Like it's still imperative that you get done whatever function you do, whether it's a job situation, even like in a lot of creative fields. Sometimes it might feel like you are just there for that job, and if you don't do the job, somebody else will come. That's why the facelessness kind of comes in, but the reflective light is kind of like a symbol of like the light's always on you, even if you don't feel like yourself, even if you don't feel like the perfect mode right now to do the work, you still always got that light shining on you.
I like how there's the duality between, the light always shining on you and you being kind of like this metallic, thing that's kind of just on autopilot. I think about that a lot, and it makes me think about a book by Eckhart Tolle called The Power of Now. Have you
Yeah.
ever heard of that book?
Yes, sir.
Right. And so in that book, they talk about, the power of now and not being on autopilot, using, your consciousness to stay conscious of the actions that you take, And so it's interesting that that is something that you, highlight in your paintings, a lot of them. That's, I guess you said that's the main the
Yeah.
archetypes, right? As you said?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm working on different stuff. Like I started off doing like super realistic portraiture. My pops he paints. Really amazing artist. Like ill with the sketches to the painting. And I started pretty young, so around like 4 or 5 years old. Started studying anatomy. Um, so I used to do like try to do like human faces and stuff like that. But I just wasn't that just wasn't my thing. Like I didn't have like though I was teaching myself and learning from books, you still need a certain type of like instruction to get either instruction or like self like motivation. I just really want that motivated. I just want to make stuff that made me smile and made me happy. Um, and yeah, that's how I got here.
Yeah, I think a lot of your pieces, especially the clothing pieces, really do make people like me smile at least. Not just because they have smiles on them, but because that urban, that real urban look to them. But also it's really refined. And so when I think about the cross between that urban look and that refined look, you've built a super strong visual brand. How do you navigate between the intersection of like fine art and just cultural urban influences? There, you meet there almost perfectly.
Um, well, I think I don't think there's a separation of it. I'll give you an example. Look at like a lot of the fashion houses, how they lean into streetwear now. Um, you can definitely say that was from the Dapper Dan type of inspiration that told them like, hey, this clientele spends money or whatever way you want to look at that. But they've adapted it and they've adapted it beautifully. I like that. Same thing with art. The street level art, the graffiti art, like that's still a great vibe for high level institutions and high level galleries. But I think it just comes down to um, your authenticity, because I think that's what we seeing in that when we say like the street level work, that's authenticity. When you get to the higher level work, that's just the business acumen. But when you start mixing both of those, that's when you're able to literally do whatever. I've seen paintings with a dot, like a dot, bro, one dot, sell for millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa, I could do that. Yeah, but like you didn't have that team. Like the artist probably did. Like they made a bunch of other work that inspired a bunch of other blah blah blah.
Right.
But it comes down to like how you the story behind it, like how you kind of portray that story, how you bring other people into your world. And you can literally make whatever as long as people see that authenticity part, and then you get your business right, or you find somebody who does that really well. I think that's been the best thing for me, like sticking to what I do well and then letting other people do what they do
Yeah, and so I feel like when you're talking about those artists who may sell a painting for so much, but it's because their legacy, their influence means so much to other people.
well.
I think that's something that's really lost upon today's society of, let's just call them content creators and artists. They really are just trying to put out these products 'cause it's like, oh, I got to put out 6 videos a week. But what do those 6 videos really mean to, your legacy as a whole? So I think it's very important that you do highlight that. This next question, I had it as one, but we got to break it into three now that you mentioned, your life experiences as well as what artists inspire other people. What artists have inspired you in your current state?
Uh, I gotta start off with my pops. He was definitely the first inspiration for me making like real art, and it was I was really young. Definitely my pops. The in the books that he actually gave me, those helped me a lot. Seeing him work and seeing him transpose the stuff that I saw in the book into his own style, like that was always really great. Um, I feel like it was my brother as well, my god brother, Linnell. Um, that he definitely inspired a lot. Like I was good with my black and white. My black and white, I was ill as a bro, ill,
You have
ill
any of
as a
those like
no,
no?
no, I have none of that, bro.
Yeah.
When I tell you like somebody asked me, "Oh, how many pieces?" I'm like, "Bro, I've made thousands of pieces,"
Yeah.
and that was before I hit 20 anything.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. I remember eighth grade, I had broke my leg, so I had stayed out of school for a minute, and the kids raided my desk,
Mm.
so they had all my pieces.
Yeah.
Um,
Those that I mean, honestly, this might sound crazy, but that would be pretty valuable. Like
I
that's some shit
agree.
that would get rated. And kids is like, yo, I got that. That's
Bro,
probably on somebody wall right now. Nigga. That shit probably all over the world,
I
man.
agree, bro. That's when I was like, I was heavy into like Tweety Bird, and like I was definitely getting more like I was mixing the different things that I learned. But
Yeah.
I feel like between like actually like especially the men that were close to me, like my brother, my pops, they definitely inspired me a lot. Even my granddad. So my granddad, he was more like a carpenter, but he would build stuff. Some stuff wasn't built too great, but his heart was in it.
Right.
Like he helped build churches. He helped people build like stuff for their homes, like he wasn't necessarily a licensed contractor, but his heart was in it so much that it kind of flowed over into like how I kind of saw putting together something for people. So like I guess from them I get the more skill based inspiration as far as the art. From my grandfather, especially the work I do now, it comes from more of like a hey, like go help people, even if you don't necessarily know how to do it your best. Um, if they could afford to do it and pay you to do it, it's probably great for you to go learn to do it while helping somebody who needs help.
Yeah.
So, and with art, it just makes it dope. Like don't be wrong, making somebody's shed, you can mess that up. Now,
Yeah.
you can fuck up a shed. I can't really fuck up an art.
Yeah.
Like as long as my heart is in the right place, I can't really fuck up an art.
Yeah, and so just to begin, before we get to the next question, we've got Baked Venom in the chat as well. What's going on, Venom? Welcome. Is anybody watching on a vertical screen right now that can't see the art piece to my left? Because you guys have to see it, and if you can't, we'll show it off here in a moment. But the next question I wanted to ask was, and it relates back to abstraction and storytelling, which is what we were just talking about as a whole. Your figures, they are futuristic in a sense, but they're also super emotional and they tell a large story. It's not lacking any sort of detail. And so how do you balance storytelling with like that abstraction?
Don't try to.
Yeah.
I will say like half of me making art is just me making stuff that I want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think that comes uh let's see, like the other half is me making stuff I want to, other half is me making stuff that I want to mean something to people. But the intersection of that is just the taste level in between. It's like, um, I didn't go to school though. I had books and stuff and I made sure I didn't necessarily have anybody teaching me. So I looked at it in the sense of like, all right, what would you want to look at? Like sometimes so like a lot of times when I paint, I'm not even looking to make anything in particular. Uh, I'll step back from my painting, bro, and then cross my eyes just a little bit so that everything goes blurry
Mm-hmm.
and just see if I like that color composition.
Yeah.
Like to the point where like the actual piece, I can't see it. Like I can't see any detail. Like I think sometimes especially like I get this feeling like sometimes like I don't really care what I make, or a lot of people don't really care. It's like, yo, how did you feel?
Right.
Like it might cause a conversation or something like that, but like if our first glance or a side eye glance you don't really like it, me being the artist, I can change it.
Right.
And if I'm not just like waking up and looking at the piece and be like, oh, I just like that, la da 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 da. If I can't do that, and then when I wake up, be like, ugh, it's really just that first second that mean everything. You just
Yeah.
gonna keep thinking about how you felt that first second.
Facts.
That's really all it is. It's a prolonged one moment.
Yeah.
So in that first moment, if I don't like it, I just keep going on it. But real talk, bro, like sometimes it stems from me wanting to make sure that I share a particular idea.
Mm-hmm.
And then those works a lot of times I only share those. But it's just a mixture of taste and just being accepting of whatever the art piece is.
Yeah, I feel like the same with music.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels almost the same. And so, what I wanted to ask there, because you had mentioned it, is when it comes to how you want your art to be perceived. You have, Instagram. It looks great, but a lot of the Instagram pictures aren't so much the exact digital pictures. It's like a picture of maybe you somewhere showing off the art, right? And so, do you prefer there to be more of a in person look at this art, see the textures, or are you more of a online is also just as strong of a medium? What's a stronger medium to you?
I don't think either one is stronger. I think they're just distinctively different and powerful.
Right.
Online media, because it ships so fast, is data transferring back and forth. All you need is a second. Nothing can replace that type of uh, instant gratification, or even just the technology that has followed along with it. Nothing can replace that.
Right.
Um, but I do know that people connect physically.
Yeah.
Like textures, we have a lot of different senses. Actually, to be honest, I had this conversation with people. There's only one sense, but people we've lied to them and told people it was six.
Right.
So light only comes through your eyes. It touches your eyes. Scents come from things touching your taste palate and your tongue or your nose. I mean taste. Taste comes from things touching your tongue.
Yeah.
Even the things you smell come from things touching
Right.
like the sensors in your nose. We only have one sense. But I tell people that because like once you realize that there's so many ways to do one thing. If we're seeing it all the time, that's dope. But now you're kind of voiding yourself of all the other pleasures.
Right.
Like I love when artists make food. Like I went to a couple of exhibitions where the artist created a food menu that went along with the exhibition. It was named after the different pieces and shit like that. Like when you can go and like talk to somebody, taste something, smell something, have a drink, then have like maybe not even have the conversation. You already been void of all the other senses this time. Like people be so like, oh, I don't want to talk to nobody. You ain't got to go experience it and walk out. But if you do get to talk to somebody, look at all your palates being touched.
Yeah.
Like so, like the visual is dope because like sight is a beautiful thing. Sight is a beautiful thing. Being able to scroll and see that the world's greatest pieces are great. But like go to the museum, smell that paint in the air, or go have a drink at that exhibition where all the wine was free and like a lot of people don't look at it like that, but that's a sensory experience every time you step out the door.
Definitely.
And
it's
just
powerful.
yeah, and just voiding yourself of all the other ones, it's foolish. So I can't say it's one is good or bad. It's just one encompasses more more of a spectrum of the your senses.
Yeah. And a lot of your pieces, they're really, really, really big. And so, some artists, they might not even touch a canvas that big ever in their life. And so, do you gravitate more towards those larger pieces, or what's your favorite medium?
So I like the smaller ones more. The larger ones, I look at more of those like my notepads. They may not say things on them, and a lot of times they actually do. But those are more so my notepads. I'm able to get out more. It's like notes of emotion.
Right.
And it might show up in a visual form. But when I get down on like a small piece of linen or like a smaller canvas, um, it reminds me more of when I was a kid and I get to kind of like really zone in.
Right.
Like these, I'm zoning out.
Yeah.
But when it's a smaller piece and literally my range of motion on my arm is real precise,
Yeah.
that's me really keying in like, hey, like this is something I want to be good. And I've done that on larger pieces. It just so happens to be easier um to do on a smaller piece, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't disagree. I've heard this one statement um, by this one woman. She actually said, male artists don't necessarily get better as they get bigger with their art. And what's funny is I agree with it. So, and I agree with it because like a lot of people do it for tax advantages and all types of other shit. Like once you start learning stuff from certain people, you really do like people be playing games with a lot of these art pieces just off the sheer size of it. So one of the things I've wanted to do is just never make somebody feel like, oh, he just making big art pieces. It's like, nah, if it is big and wild, like, nah, my meaning gonna be in there. But if I can get real good on these smaller pieces, like I could put this same type of skill into that larger piece.
Yeah.
I think I get a little scatterbrain too. That's why I'm able to just like look at a single piece and go a little crazy on it when it's small. Because when it's large, I'm walking around, I might be smoking, doing something. But yeah, I think it just depends on how I feel. The larger pieces become that notebook, and the smaller pieces become like an actual piece to make sometimes.
Okay, so this next one is a I got so high, I put the joint down type question, but you talk about the mechanics of having a larger piece and then having a smaller piece and how that relates to, your hand movements and how that relates to zoning out or being precise, maybe like a doctor, right? And so you also talk about being a programmer. Are you a spiritual person, would you say?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And so talk to me about how that intersects for you when it comes to, just spirituality, how that relates to the mechanics of moving your hand, but then you're talking about zoning in and out on a painting depending on the size. Is that something that interests you as a painter, or do you not think about those type of things?
I don't know, man. Even the conversation how I originally created those. So it's three circles that they. The reason I had did that, it was a reference to the Holy Trinity, the mind, body, spirit, or the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. But I look at it as a creature of all encompassing, like the holy body. But I will say, as far as like even in my practice and my art, you'll see a lot of different stars or crosses and just like random. Like I've even painted like Mary and the three wise men just in my own different um different renditions. But
Right.
I think that it, art is spiritual. Art is a spiritual experience. You're tapping in with something different. Um, and I think it's definitely related to related to the size and of the canvas. I definitely think when I'm on a larger canvas, how I say it, it feels like more like my connection with like the Holy Ghost or something like that. I'm like even in like I've been going to church consistently for like the last year. My girl got us going to church before we had got together and just been
They're
going ever
great for that,
since.
aren't they?
I swear.
I swear, girls are great for getting you closer to God.
I swear.
No, for real. Yeah.
But luck, I will say like she's dope because like the dudes that she's introduced me to, they've also explained the Bible in ways that make sense to me. Like I can't necessarily call myself a Christian, only because one of the ministers said quite literally, he's like, you don't need to be a Christian to come here. There's no explanation of a Christian in the Bible. There's no word of that. And those who are, I feel like they have a stronger sense of will than I do. Um, I think that it's more of a connection thing with me. Like I've had certain experiences where uh, shit was just like unexplainable.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, it's been a couple experiences where like shit just unexplainable. And the only way you could explain it was there's a power working somewhere that ain't got shit to do with you, bro.
Right.
Like you and all the other niggas around you right now. Cause like when you experience certain things or certain blessings, like it's obvious that like there's a higher power, there's a source, there is whether y'all want to call it this name or that name, like there is working being done.
I mean, I feel that way when I experience downfalls too.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's like yin and yang. In that sense, I feel like even the things that I repeat monthly that I'm trying to get away from or something like that, like that's a force working as well, right?
Oh yeah.
And you got to identify that before you can overcome it, because you just might think oh, this is just the way it is. Like, yeah, but you have a say in the way it is in a sense as well.
I feel like if you I say if you go along with the proper current and like you push yourself to be better, like the world, the spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it, I think it starts working with you. A lot of people are like, "Oh, the world's working against me." No, you're just not working with it yet, type of thing. Like, um, and one of the things even though I've been doing church for the last year, I've met so many people who don't go to church at all, man, and they more spiritual than anybody I'd have met in one of them buildings,
Right.
bro. So like, I think just being on the right path, you'll meet people in those spiritual spaces without it being like a religion. It's more so a lifestyle.
Definitely. Yeah, I definitely think it's a lifestyle. And I feel like when you only think it's a religion or when you only think it can happen in a building, I think you're probably not getting the point, you know? And I feel like that definitely can hinder your ability to receive whatever you think the word might be.
Yep.
Right. And so when it comes to vulnerability in art, because we've been talking about some pretty vulnerable stuff, obviously you pull this inspiration for the art from within yourself, or do you pull it from external forces?
It's definitely not me. I don't necessarily know if I can say it's external forces because I feel like it's a system. I'm
Mhm.
part of a system. We're part of this world system, and I feel like it's more like a channel. Like if anything, like I'm an antenna. You're an antenna. We're picking up on game essentially. Like we're picking
Right.
up on the universe's game. We're picking up on the universe's um vibes. Like I feel like it's similar to you get an idea and you don't do anything with it this year, you see it on Instagram next year. Why? Because somebody else is picking up on that vibe too. You
Yeah.
ain't, don't get me wrong, we sent the signal to you first.
Mhm.
We sent the signal to you first. You. That's why you mad about seeing it on Instagram right
Right.
now, because you sent the signal to you first. But after that, it's gonna bounce somewhere, bro.
Yeah.
So I feel like everybody is like this antenna where we just picking up on the universe's game. We picking up on the universe's emotions. And it may be through a visual sense. It may be through um, an experience online or through food or whatever. But I feel like, um, yeah, I feel like we just picking up on things.
Yeah, I definitely feel like we are picking up on a lot of things. I think social media has a large part to do with
Oh yeah.
the seeing and the sensing of these things, right? And so before we move to the next point, I do want to say, what's up, Origin? Back in the building. He says he's missed this show for the last 3 interviews, but he's back now to tap back in. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And so circling back to one of our last questions and talking about things that we pick up on via social media, art is a large world, from the techniques that you use to paint on the canvas to inspirations that you get, from the outside world through the artistic, connections that you have. Do you feel like there are trends that you see in your art? And I'm not saying, a dance trend that you feel like relates to it. In the art world, what are some of these new hot trends? What's going on right now?
Mm, man. So it's weird. Art, man. How can I say this without offending people? The art is a trend. There is nothing anybody can paint again that is technically new.
Right.
There is no sculpture. There is I feel like the trend is, don't get me wrong, I feel like you got some people who go trendy, but the thing is like once you get to a certain level, ain't no trends. Because
Right.
it ain't gonna work over here.
Yeah.
Like if you getting booked for certain types of exhibitions and shit, can't be no trends. That's the thing that make you you.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that's why it's so hard to find trends in art at certain I will say at certain levels. Um like if you go on to art fairs or something like that, you definitely gonna see multiple types of artists because like you got different artists across the world who are making work at the same time and they getting and because of the internet, we getting a lot of the same inspirations. Like I've made stuff and I seen one of the homies make something and I ain't even posted my shit yet. So I know he ain't saying mine. I know he ain't making it because of me.
Mm.
But because I know we was at that event 2 weeks ago together, he saw that thing too,
Yeah.
type of thing.
And so name two trendsetters in the game right now.
I can name two people that people like to copy.
Yeah.
Yep, I can do that.
Ooh.
I say Kerry James Marshall. First off, because I love trying to make a Kerry James Marshall. I say because like also like his work as far as uh, just being just being a force in Black creativity. Um, first off, like the 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 things he's made acceptable for Black artists to be able to make and show in galleries and in these large formats and institutions, um, it's well deserved. Like this ain't no knock to nobody because like the artists that I'm talking about, they all ill. And the fact that you even can try to attempt to paint like this man, and it might come close, you's an ill person. All you
Yeah.
need is an original idea to go along with that skill.
Mm.
Um, I feel like Kerry James Marshall, and it's all love. I love his work. Also another artist, if I'm not mistaken, from Chicago, as I am. Um, let's see, Kerry James Marshall. Uh, let's see, and I'll definitely say Basquiat.
Mm-hmm. Still. To this
Yeah,
day.
hell yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Trust me, nigga, it's a bunch of artists,
Yeah.
but still, and well deserved. It's a certain language that goes along with like abstract art.
Yeah.
Like it's a certain
So you feel like he's like a godfather of abstract?
I
Probably
would,
goes back further than that, huh?
I would say yes, but also like in a sense of social status and
Right.
meaning to people that look like me and people that I know.
Yeah.
Once again, another staple in making Black people feel like, yo, I can actually do this shit. Like,
Yeah.
like
I'd
it's
really
yeah.
I'd really love to have something just like this. But we also have like some like old Egyptian artists and a hieroglyph like via AI that we can talk to and be like, how does this relate to the people that you was with? And they talk in English somehow. That would be nasty.
Actually be good, man. We can get to that.
I
One of the
definitely feel like
homies.
that's possible
Yeah.
these days.
Oh yeah, one of the homies. He can help you with
Yeah.
that, bro.
With all the information that we have, we might be able to whip up some type of personality that's, you
Yeah.
know, man, we might talk about that one. And so, moving further into technicality and the new tech of the future, what was a recent piece that challenged you technically,
Hmm.
mechanically?
Uh. Mm, I would say a piece of artwork that challenged me.
Or do they
I
not do
think
that anymore?
no. I feel like that's the thing. Like I'm struggling on every piece, bro. Like even if it might not look like it,
Yeah.
I'm struggling on every piece because I don't really draw my pieces out
Yeah.
to begin with. So I'm never really coming from like an initial sketch. So like every piece is like no lie, bro. Like 80% of my pieces, I feel like the world is falling apart as I'm making it. And like I'm serious. Like I feel like I'm fucking up. Like this is terrible.
Oh man.
Like I gotta fix this.
I think that's beautiful though, man. Honestly, we need a movie about that. And just like, a movie about like the inside of an artist's mind when he's painting.
Like real talk, bro.
Like,
It's not,
holy shit. And then he
look,
gets to the show and everybody's like, yeah. He's just like, what the
it's like,
fuck?
I'm glad y'all like it. Because
Holy
stressed.
shit, man.
But yeah, like I feel like I wouldn't necessarily say like these joints I've had like because I couldn't. That's just part of the process. I would say more so one of the things that I experienced in recent years that has been a challenge, and I do look at it as my art piece now. It's like more so like the business. Like I look at that as like my production, and I feel like I've had a challenge with not just the artwork, but figuring out what the artwork is the art piece of, if that makes sense. It's
Let me
like,
go get some drink. We gotta talk business, man.
oh, I'm definitely down.
We talk marketing and business. I gotta.
But I feel like,
Oh.
it's like when you get to a certain point, like I don't know if all artists are like this, but I know I got to a certain point where, bro, I got bored.
Yeah.
Like not on some like, and not in a good bored. Like, oh, everything's great. I got money. I don't know. It's like, no, nigga, you got just enough to survive. uh,
But you don't like doing that no more.
You don't really want to do that no more.
Yeah. Yeah, boy, tell me about it.
Like you don't want to just be surviving, bro. Like that's not okay.
I've known both.
Like that's not like that. And I've also gotten to those moments where like you do make a little bit of something, but then you realize that you ain't got the infrastructure to even keep this shit going up.
Yeah.
And like I started doing production, like event production and like event coordinating like maybe 10 years ago with friends and stuff.
Right.
And it grew. and during the pandemic, I had gotten to like different industries and started working with more people. And I had an opportunity to really do some dope shit with it. With I had I curated an exhibition at Navy Pier in Chicago. It's like the city's largest like event spacing, or like it's crazy. It's a beautiful space. My mom actually used to work there when I was in high school at this embroidery shop. Um, and I remember doing this exhibition. And don't get me wrong, like the exhibition was beautiful. Everything worked out well, like beautifully. But one of the things that I realized in that was like my expectations were much higher than my know-how, and I I had an issue with trusting myself. Like some of the homies, they was like, "Oh, was it you couldn't trust people?" I'm like, "Nah, I just couldn't trust myself because if I could trust it myself, I knew I would have been able to trust y'all."
Right.
And I feel like ever since I've made those adjustments, just like not trusting people to be perfect, but trusting that like on some real shit, like God got this,
Yeah. No matter what happens.
and that whatever these people need to get done for His will get done.
Yeah.
Like when I understood that, it's like you ain't gotta trust yourself. You ain't gotta trust these people. You ain't gotta trust none of that. Trust that the source, like you doing this for source, so all the pieces gonna fall apart for anybody who's a part of this project right here.
Yeah. And so, in that same sense, talk about cheers. Talk about when things are not going so well. Talk about when you're in a rut. Talk about when you've got to pull your own self up by the bootstraps. And how do you get the motivation to do that? Have you ever been in an artistic rut?
Oh hell yeah. I realized that I cannot pull myself out of those.
Right.
Um, because like I'm gonna go to the more spiritual side, but also to the quite literal side. You can't necessarily pull yourself out of those ruts.
Yeah.
The people around you do, the memories that you have acquired do, the exercise that you might implement, whether it's moving around or whatever, calisthenics, all these things play a big part in what you do. You really just like once again, you're just a conduit going through some shit.
Right.
But when you start putting yourself in, like real talk, but when you start putting yourself when you put yourself in situations where like these dudes, like these is real people that you communicate with,
Right.
man. You can talk to them, get some stuff. They're gonna try to make you feel better, like your friends, like my art definitely, but like also I know that ain't just me.
Right.
That's so many inspirations and so many expectations as well. I think the inspirations and the expectations get you out of it. It's like um as a human, you look at it as like I you can like I've been in some shit, bro. Uh I've been in some shit. And I think the only thing that got me out was other people just being like, hey, get up.
Yeah.
Like one of my homies, RIP to him, man. Um, I was staying with some of the homies and like real talk, bro. I used to be just drawing on the floor type shit. Like just drawing on the floor. Like it was like a bean bag, and I was straight. I used to sew in this bean bag. I used to do everything in this bean bag, bro. Um, and every time the nigga would come over, named John Walk, bro. RIP to him, G. This nigga would literally just like tell me to get up, like get up off the floor, bro. And it don't matter until it do.
Yeah.
It don't matter until it do. Like I get to hear kind of that voice in my head a lot, just telling me like get up off the floor.
Yeah.
So like it ain't me. I don't really pull myself out of ruts. Like it's either God or a person out of it.
Yeah. I think that's super important, especially God being one of the people that you've met, along the way. Like that is, and I feel like a lot of people, like a lot of people say, haven't really met their God. They don't really have their people. And so they're in those ruts and they can't get out of it. They don't even see a way out, and there's no one telling them anything about anything. They don't have any word, any faith on anything. They're just like, it's just me.
That's called despair.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to the point where like I've never been like without religious belief.
Hmm.
So I think that's kind of helped me. So that's thanks to like my mom's family, my pops. He not religious, but he is one of the most spiritual. Man, the bro used to piss me off when I was like I'm going through real shit, and he talking about clear your mind. I'm like, nigga, I'm hungry. What the fuck you? What you mean clear my mind, bro? I'm hungry. I'm starving. Come pick me up. What do you need? I'm like, clear your mind.
It's not
I don't
funny.
want to hear that shit. But
Oh,
like
that shit
real
not
talk,
funny.
I feel like
Oh,
I'm able to look back on all the things that people told me in
right.
times when I was low key upset about it, and be like, damn, that's like real talk. It's like
Yeah.
it's a funny thing that I'm like, damn, like, and I'm look, man, we was making jokes, bro. We was look, I love my dad to death, and if he see this, I pray he know that we meant no harm. But bro, we was making hella jokes. We used to be like, this nigga be out, clear your mind. What's good, sir?
Hell yeah. No, I think that's crazy. There's a lot of times you don't understand those messages,
Yeah,
in the
man.
beginning. And then they come around on the back end and smack you in the face.
I swear.
And so, speaking of things that come around later on, the future, talk to us a little bit about a future normal, which is the link off on your main page that goes to what looks like a collective that focuses on, curation and in that sense. And so, tell us about what it is actually.
So a future normal, I started the idea of it like 3 years ago, just as a way that I can start implementing some like more tech ideas mixed with the fashion and stuff. I had started doing like the hand-sewn leather goods and different products and projects with different people. But I wanted to kind of streamline it and make sure that I had my business intact.
Hmm.
And one of the reasons why it took me so long, actually, I had came up with this huge business plan, and I showed it to my homie Richard. Richard Dope, by the way. Richard is this ill ass dude. I think he's still in Chicago, but Richard was teaching Japanese classes, and he was giving free Japanese classes to people of color. Um, Richard was dope, and I showed Richard that business plan, and he was like, "This is great, but Twan, this is a 7 year plan." He's like,
The whole
he was
thing.
like, you cannot do that
Yeah.
in a year,
Mm.
let alone 6 months. And all I said is, I started.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, man, he was fucking right, bro.
Yeah.
Like it started off as like this clean energy project that I
Yeah.
wanted to do. I wanted to build like these structures that generated energy through different. I'm still trying to do this shit.
How many years are we out now?
4.
Oh.
Well, no, 3.
That
3
means
because it was
it's okay.
2021.
Yeah.
But it's dope because like I respected him and I said like I do it.
Yeah.
Um, and it's actually been dope. It's gonna start doing like little stuff here and there, like more so on the art tip, but
Right.
as far as access to the energy part and like the resources, I just didn't really have like he knew he knew I didn't have half the resources on that page, bro.
Yeah.
But I said I was gonna partner with these people and I was gonna get it done, bro. I'm getting it get done.
Right.
And like it's been slow or a different version of that company. I might have found a startup of a company that does similar work to that other company, and I'm like, all right, the vision there, how I was gonna get there, might not be how I said I was gonna do it,
Right.
but the end vision there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really just been a thing of utilizing the things that I love, which is like art, fashion, making sure that like people got cool shit to go to. I always enjoy throwing parties, and that made throwing like the exhibitions a lot easier because it's essentially what a opening is. It's a freaking party. Like,
Right.
don't get me wrong. A lot of people like what I didn't know is that 90% of our exhibition happens after the open.
Mm.
first 10%, that's just the pretty pictures.
Yeah.
The 90% after is making sure people get in the building.
Right.
And I think that with AFN, I started combining all that shit. It's like, all right, cool. You can make the artwork, you can do all this, make these pretty pictures, you can set up a cool vibe for people. But now that 90% that you was missing on that other end, provide that for people as well. Um, and it's been dope. Started doing programming with the youth. Um, Definitely been doing a lot of events with different like adults as well. We have a summer series of like workshops that we work coming with, but these workshops gonna be a little bit different. We coming from more of like a social kickback type of thing. Like
Right.
if you don't want to learn nothing right now, that's fine. Go chill at the bar. We got something nice over there for you. But if you want to chill at the bar and you want to learn something and you want to eat something nice, uh, we got something real hospitable for you as
Right.
well.
I think that's a beautiful word.
Thank you. That's weird. So like my sister, she's actually a chef. Um, and I'm thinking about taking some classes myself just on learning how to provide experiences for people. I think I've been doing a bang up job till now, but I think at this point, like I really just want to focus on providing people with the best experience overall. And like when I mentioned those different senses and those different palettes, like that's why it's called home and palette.
Right.
Like I want you to feel comfortable, and I want to make sure that not only like your palette of your food taste, your drink, your sight is there, but also the color, like the palette of your brush. Like I want to make sure that we introduce people to new spaces, see new things, to have new opportunities just to think differently. Like
Right.
you can have a drink and a smoke and some food anywhere, but if you have it in a curated space where the person literally just wanted you to have a good time and think differently, I feel like shit is worth it.
Right. And so the home and palette was the next thing I was going to ask about on the home brand in general. That's HOMME. And so your events, because I've been to a couple of them, the exhibitions that you may plan to host in the future, I've seen how they shift the way that people interact with not only each other, but also art and fashion. And so, talk to us about the Home and Palette brand and the home brand itself, and then the storefront homework down at Underground Atlanta.
I got you. So so homework, that's Trinidad. Actually, like I first off, man, I'm gonna get that man his flowers since I can. That nigga, he been a inspiration for many years. And though I was aware, I didn't necessarily have that in mind when I was naming it. Um, but since you said it, I would love to collaborate on some stuff with that actually, because I love how that first event where we met. Oh, the Sunday joint. What's the name of it?
Reflections.
Reflection Sundays. I want to make sure we give the proper respect. Reflection Sundays. That was a beautiful event. And that's kind of along the lines of what it kind of means.
Right.
He's curated a space that means something. Every piece is curated. It has a story.
Right.
The colors in there. I love the Sauconys in the back, bro. I got mad stories about people telling me take them things off.
Yeah.
Like you win them out, the soul gone, bro. Like, but like I had some special joints, bro. I wasn't about to let them go, and like just being able to connect with it in a more of like a legacy sense of my own archive. I think that's been he's an inspiration with that space, but with Home and Palette with our brand is more of a I want to provide things for people similar to like the leather goods and the bags and stuff, but also
Beautiful bag.
thank you, sir.
I just more looking at it. It's not blueberries; those are women.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
yes,
Yeah, geez,
it's one of the orgies.
man.
This is what I call
There's
the
another
piece.
one on the back too.
Yeah.
Jesus. Why they getting down? That's beautiful. That's an amazing piece.
Thank you, sir. And it's all hands on as well. So, but I wanted to lean into something that I can start like touching on different concepts. A future norm was more so like the housing company. Like, the intent for it is to be a 501(c)(3). That way we can make sure that we give autonomy to the organization, make sure that people who are part of it are the ones running it.
Right.
and I definitely intend on like mixing some of the blockchain tech that I've been playing around with the last few years into that as well. But then when you got Home and Palette, that's more so the for-profit company. But this is where we get to tweak ideas, and I don't know, we can make a chair if we want. We can go and make a table or a lighter that takes 10 minutes to light. You just have to wait for it, but it's a spectacle till then for some reason.
Right.
Like I don't know, just like
Yeah.
just where we can start testing different ideas, but mixing it with shit.
Yeah.
Like it's called Home and Palette. Definitely home for the fashion sense, but home because of your home. Like I want it to feel like a fashionable dwelling. Like I do want to create a chair for somebody. I do want somebody to come in and be like, hey, we need a new desk.
Yeah.
Here's our budget. Send us some drawings.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to start going into more like I said, my granddad's inspiration with
Right.
this is like, let's go make something. Let's go make some shit that we don't necessarily know how to make.
Yeah. Bring the carpenter side into it.
Yeah,
Right.
but because we know how to finish
Yeah.
well, we don't necessarily need to know how to make it. Can we finish?
Yeah.
Yes. Let's try this shit.
Let's do it.
Like
And we've got such great connections now that it's going to be made just fine. It's going to be made great.
I think so. I think my connection, the best one that I made is with myself and Source.
Mm-hmm.
Like the people, they part of that. So I think the best connection that I made was definitely myself and Source.
Facts. And so to wrap it up here, what's next for you creatively? Are there any mediums or collaborations that you're eager to explore?
Um,
Two-part question,
hmm,
I guess.
I want to create a sneaker. I
Oh
definitely want to
man,
create a sneaker,
that'd be dope.
and you know what? Not even just a sneaker. Just like shoes.
Yeah.
Like I love leather goods, so like I've tested making like leather like slippers and
Mm-hmm.
like trying to be a fake cobbler.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, bro, my shit can go on the shelf,
Yeah.
but also it's so labor intensive. Like don't get me wrong, I'm still spending like maybe 20 to 40 hours on a bag. This one don't even have a lining, and I think I still need to keep working on it. That's
Yeah.
already 20 something hours. For people who are making shoes, bro, it's so much care and 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 just craftsmanship that like I want to try that next.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like playing the piano
Yeah.
in a sense, right? Like that's okay. So do you feel like if you make a shoe, you can make a bag, or if you make a bag, it can make a shoe? How does that work?
I definitely think if you can make a shoe, you can make a bag.
There we go.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
And that's why I said it's like piano playing. Because if you can play the piano, you got a lot of shit under your belt in
Yeah.
order to figure some other shit out.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I can play the tuba
Mm-hmm.
really, really well actually. But bro, my fingers will not. But I feel like the same thing. I feel like the craftsmanship of being a cobbler is comparable to that of bag making, especially at the high level. Um, but because you're working, I feel like you're working with uh more tools, more hardware, more steel. Like you need like a certain shoe last, like
Right.
especially if you're making like bespoke shoes for people. Like that's a whole process in itself, from casting somebody's foot to
Yeah.
making sure that turning that foot cast into a cast for a shoe, bro. It's damn near science.
Yeah.
I don't get me, and I want to learn it. But that's why I want to learn it. I'm like, damn, it's like baking.
Yeah.
This baking, then creating a leather case for what you just baked. Like
Oof.
it's
A perfect leather case.
yeah, the perfect
That's
leather
flexible.
case. And it has to flex. It
Yeah.
has to have all these other mechanics, especially with like modern technology. Like
Oh yeah.
like it's a lot to it. But I think that's where I would want to go to. Yeah,
And
sneakers.
so, what about collaborations with other people? Where would you want to go next, or where is plausible for you to go next? Because I know you might want to go to the moon. What's the next star you might hit? What are you looking at right now?
Hmm. I think that I'm willing to work with anything that aligns with me and my purpose. Uh, I started doing peace circles a couple years ago, and I was trained by one of the homies in Chicago. His name is Mashawn Ali. Really dope dude, just like dope individual. And then he also just know how to bring the best out of people.
Right.
Just like period. Like
Yeah.
any person. And if he can't do it, you probably a terrible person. Like real talk. I'm so serious,
Like
bro.
a dog.
Like yeah, you need to be locked up. If Mashawn don't like you, and like he say you actually a bad person, you need to be locked up.
Right. I don't even know who he is. It just sounds convincing.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you. But I think what's next? I think the collaboration that makes sense for me is like people who want to push the idea. Like I love tech. I love art. I think now I want to start focusing on mixing all of it, mixing the business, mixing the marketing. Like I want to test out what it feels like to be an agency instead of just an artist. Like I want to be an artist in my agency and just look back and be like, all right, guys, here's the project scope. Here's the artwork. Figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. No cap.
And we all get paid the equal amount.
Right. Okay.
It's like, nope. Why? Because we all at work.
Yeah.
I'm not taking any extra taxes. But I feel like that's what I want to do more so. Start looking at things from more of like an agency sense, more community.
Yeah, I think that's super important. I know you'll get there. We're vibing out right now, guys, with Twan Jones art. You can see his picture, amazing painting over here to my left. If you're looking on a horizontal screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably got to be at this point, looks amazing. And I had a pleasure sitting down and talking with you about all this stuff, man. This was great.
Same here, bro.
Yeah, 100%. We'll tap back in later on. Maybe there's another painting we can put on the other side next time. Double it up, man, for the rerun. Maybe in a couple months, maybe a year or so. See exactly where your head's at. See what's going on.
We gotta have you come over to the spot, bro. Have you on one of our joints? I'm working on like a little project. Like I can't do podcasts, bro. But I do want to have something where I'm having people like do like a music experience with the art, man. So and I heard your joints earlier, so I think you'll be the perfect person.
Yeah, we just put on Drawn Together. I was along with Elise the Destroyer and Bambi Zilla, who are two upcoming artists in the city. We were at Railroad and Underground, if you're familiar, right underneath.
Yeah.
You guys be hanging at. And so we put on our art and a show there. Really nice. I'll show you the footage once we get off here. But I do feel like that's the exact type of thing that you're looking to highlight in that sense. And yeah, we've got a ton to say about that. We've got a ton to say about we're trying to like be a beacon to get other people to be like, hey, we're doing this. Okay, I know you guys were too lazy to do it. I know we didn't start it, but you can just join us.
Yep,
okay, and let's
join up if
you know what I mean? Yeah, let's just.
And also, if you need help running your shit, like, come on, man. I'll come over there and help you.
We'll definitely tap in. We'll definitely tap in because I feel like everybody's stronger together.
Yes, sir.
100%, man. Until next time, brother. Thank you so much for coming on and talking with us. Is there anybody you want to shout out before you leave?
I shout out everybody I see right now with this Bot Ricks. If I'm saying that right, turn up to you. It's just Yummy or Yumi. Is it Yummy or Yumi?
I think it's Yummy.
Yummy.
He's a jokester.
It's just Yummy. I turn up to you. Baked Venom, XX Dicks, R Yummy XX. Look at you. Turn up Dicks, R Yummy. Baked Venom. You said Yummy. All right, y'all freaky in here. More, but Origin 24 DC. All right, we're not no Gladiator 2025.
Hey man. Holy shit. Till next time, guys.
I love y'all for real though.
Love.
I know y'all still real people.